No. I'm fully aware that the 3DS version exists. But when a game like Captain Tsubasa is on the market, there is no excuse as to why Haikyuu doesn't have a better video game representation than this.
Everybody like, hey, are you ready to go? Ready to go. Everybody like, hey.
What's up, y'all? Soul here from Soul Story Mode, and welcome to Arcade Wave. And quite honestly, I've been a little inspired lately. As I mentioned in the beginning of the video, at this point in time, we finally received Captain Tsubasa, one of the only existing soccer games to actually give FIFA a run for its money. Actually, I'm not gonna lie to you, I don't know if it sold all that well, but anyone who has played the game can tell you that this right here is a prime example of how anime games should work. Even as a sports game, it hit all the expectations of what I'd expect from any anime game this day and age. Fun, unique gameplay style? You got it. Custom characters? Sure, why the hell not? Fun, investing story mode? Have two! You see what I'm saying here? Now, this isn't the first game to do it, but it hit every note that allows it to at least potentially be a phenomenal anime/manga based game. Now, Captain Tsubasa isn't actually what we're here to talk about. However, it will be a hefty reference point. As you saw in the title, we're going to be talking about the ins and outs of a possible AAA title for the overwhelmingly popular sports shonen, Haikyuu.
How are you supposed to make a volleyball video game fun, man? That doesn't even sound right. What are you supposed to hit the ball? How are you gonna make—
Bro, if people can make golf games sell, anything can work. Anyway, let's develop the concept for an actual Haikyuu video game. Let's go ahead and start with developers. I think we would need to get a hand from two big names for this one to not only get the right look, but to get the right feel too. I'd hand it over to CyberConnect 2 and Team Ninja. To give you an idea of who we're working with, CyberConnect is responsible for the entirety of the Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm series, the Dot Hack games, Ashura's Wrath, Angry Rockman, and more recently, Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. Now, I can't speak much for the Dot Hack games because I don't know much about those, but Naruto and Dragon Ball on the other hand are a different story. As some of the most popular shonen, I think it's safe to say that in the gaming realm, they've been done absolute justice. They even managed to get their hands on Demon Slayer, a game that's in development as we speak. CyberConnect on multiple occasions has proven themselves to know how to handle big names like Naruto and Dragon Ball Z, how to make them flashy, fun, and unique without deterring from the atmosphere of what we know and love. So, why Team Ninja? We have CyberConnect, so we don't necessarily need them. That's what you're probably thinking, right? I know a couple of you had your light switches flipped when I mentioned that name. Well, Team Ninja is actually responsible for the Dead or Alive games, more specifically, Dead or Alive Extreme 3, one of the few volleyball games that actually looked pretty good to me. Hey, shut your mouth. I know what's going on up in that head of yours. Listen to me. I did a little bit of digging on literally any other volleyball game I could find, and honestly, I've got to say, I haven't found any other volleyball-focused games that look even remotely as fluid. Ideally, I would like to grab a few people from that team to help solidify mechanics and controls so that we could get something like this as a starting base. But this isn't exactly what I pictured for the final version of the game. It'd have to be an above camera. This one's a little too low. So to start things off, why don't we talk about the boot up sequence? After some kind of sick intro that I can only hope looks something like the opening to Ultimate Ninja Storm 4, we get the title screen, capturing all of our favorite Karasuno boys in some sick poses surrounding the title. You enter in, and we have a menu with a UI as pretty as Persona 5's. Just kidding. Nothing can be as pretty as Persona 5's UI. Please don't even try to challenge that. So, what's on the menu? Let's feed that appetite. Starting off, we have the obvious, the story mode. Here is where you'll learn the story of Hinata and Kageyama as they attend Karasuno High and earn their spot on the team. The first match will be the practice match that they had against Tsukushima and Yamaguchi. This is where you'll get a tutorial and an idea for how the general controls work. You're gonna learn more basic and complex techniques as you progress. The story mode really shouldn't take you more than a couple hours. After all, this isn't meant to be a game focused on the main story. You already know what that is. Why would you want to see it in depth all over again? Next on the menu would be the second story mode, the custom character story mode. I definitely clearly based this idea not only on Captain Tsubasa, but Dragon Ball Z Ultimate Tenkaichi. Both had simple, short, original story modes that gave the player somewhat of a recap of the main story, and a custom character storyline to follow as well, one where you actually focused more on the story and gameplay rather than one big fat tutorial. I'd like to have a customized menu just in case you don't feel like building up your team through the story, or you want to build another team to use to switch off when you play against other people. Finally, for the menu, the other and possibly most important mode would be online. Here's what you'll be able to take on whatever team you decide to build and put it to the test. I'd love to see some competitive matches, don't get me wrong. I love absolutely shitting on people from behind the screen when they can't see me while I snag their rank from them. But I do love some casual matches too, where, win or lose, I've learned more about where my team is lacking and try to improve on it in different builds. I think the ranking system I prefer would work much like fighters, where you can only truly tell if you've ranked up or down by paying attention to whatever color shape you've got. I'm a big fan of surprises, so the idea of someone screaming, "Hey yo, I ranked up!" with that hint of question in their voice makes me very pleased. Obviously, the settings would allow it so that you could find a match with whoever you want, but I personally am not a huge fan of getting creamed by someone who has a ridiculous amount of experience and losing my ranking. So, I'd like it if things were set up so that you could get matched with people of your level, or at least close to your level. And obviously, I know you'd want to play with friends, so you could set up an arena or a lobby for that one. For the look of the lobby, I was thinking something along the lines of Fighters or BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle, where you can have chibis of the main characters running around and stuff like that. It'd be fun to earn currency and spend it on collectibles, accessories, or if we want to get crazy, maybe we could buy techniques and specials that we can use on our builds. Coming back to the menu, the rest of it would probably be things like settings, options, or whatever else. I'd like to throw in photos and soundtrack. You already know I'm out here trying to take the absolute sauciest pictures with the squad. Now that we've gotten through that, let's talk a little bit about that second story mode. You should have the option to pick the school and team you end up on. The school you pick would be between 3 completely brand new teams made specifically for this game. A whole new cast of characters that you'd get to learn and grow with. One of the teams would specialize in offense, another in defense, and a third party that is decently overall rounded. Picking the offensive team means building a strong setup for the ace to make his move. The defensive team would put their best efforts towards blocks and saves, meaning you would get to know the libero very well. On the team that's decently rounded, you'll prove yourself as a worthy adversary and be voted in as the team captain. For any team that you pick, you'll be getting to know your team through and through so you can learn their weaknesses and strengths so that you can know where to slap them on the court, or bench them if they, been deemed unworthy. I want players to develop their teams in different ways. Even if you were to take your team online, even if you pick the offensive team, you may not necessarily be as reliant on your ace as your opponent may think. It's all about mind games, baby. Okay, how about the gameplay then? How in the world would we get an actual volleyball game to play comfortably on the PS5? Here's how it goes. We're gonna have the usual setup. The game starts up and we get a glimpse of the starting lineup, and everyone gets into their positions. Ace, setter, decoy, whatever the hell else is supposed to be on the court. I don't know about volleyball, I'm just hyped for it, bro. Starting up, you'll take control of whoever serves. There should be some sort of reticle that determines the aim and a power bar right after to determine the power behind the serve. The opposing team will have to use good timing depending on the accuracy and power of the spike. Or they leave it alone if the ball has a chance of flying out. Playing against the computer, don't expect many instant kills. Online, if their timing's booty, they're never gonna receive that ball. Assuming they got the ball, next up is getting it to the setter. That's always gonna be automatic once they have the ball in control. At this point, you'll end up commanding whoever ends up as the setter. This is where you'll actually make use of the D-pad. The game will slow down for a moment, giving you 2 to 3 options, depending on your setup and who's on the court. I hate to phrase it like this, but the best way to play this out is a little bit of rock, paper, scissors. Don't leave. Please, hold on! I know y'all hate rock, paper, scissors based games because it slows down the action a little bit, but in this case, I think it's more than reasonable. And I know people like a challenge, so how about we have the option to turn on instant pick or rush mode. We make it so that the slowdown before your choice doesn't even exist, and you have mere seconds to make your decision before you toss that ball up. It's gonna be up to you to make the decision to throw it to either one of the spikers on the left, right, or behind you, leaving you to predict where the opponent's defense is gonna be at its weakest. And depending on how the ball makes it back to the setter, you can also get a 4th option, a setter dump, which is where you basically just throw it in their faces right in front of them, real soft, like when they're not expecting it. You just throw it away like trash. Just trash the ball, pretty much. That's all you gotta do. Anyway, moving on from that, after all this, it's up to the ace or whoever's spiking. You take control in that instance, and again, depending on your timing and the reticle, you can slam that in the next month. So, are you starting to understand the general idea of where I'm going with this? I don't necessarily want the player to take control of one character at a time like most sports games. That wouldn't work in this case since the ball moves way too fast. I want to feel like I have control over the entirety of the team, as if they were all one character, one unit, one squad, one whole clique, son. I'm not even going to try to get into different special moves and things like that because A, the script would be way too long, and B, my problem of not being finished with Haikyuu just yet is still very much prominent. So at this point, they probably pulled off some nonsense that I couldn't even begin to imagine. Trust me, I'd love to go into detail about the absolutely outrageous, unrealistic power moves that only strong shonen anime high school boys can pull off. But we just don't have the time. But I promise you, I'd spare no expense for the animations that would have your toes curling. So, would you say that by this point you maybe have a slight vivid idea of what I'm trying to go for with this game? AAA might be a little bit of a stretch, but as a Haikyuu game, I would expect it to be very big and very noticeable, especially on a current gen console, as opposed to that monstrosity. Or, you know, maybe you're a big fan of that game. Maybe you don't like any of the ideas that I presented to you today. Hey, let me know in the comment section below. I want to hear your ideas. I want to know how I could have made these ideas better. I want to know how I could improve. I would love to get a full scope on what a perfect Haikyuu PS5 game would look like. And you guys could definitely help me with that. Because guess what? I'm not opposed to making a part 2 of this. I'd love to go more in depth about it. I just don't have the time to do it right now. Not for this one. But if you guys have more ideas that you can, let me in on, let me know. I'll give you the credit and we can talk about it in the next version of this video. Because a part 2 of this, going more in depth about mechanics and gameplay factors would be outstanding. I'm super here for it. So let me know what you guys think. I want to hear your ideas. Okay, so I think that's just gonna go ahead and about do it. I think I'm gonna go skedaddle on out of here and go finish Haikyuu. I'm still in season 3 at this point in time, and oh my god, I keep getting ripped away from it, and I want to cry. It's so good. I just want to sit down and not stop. Anyway, thank you guys ever so much for watching. I truly do hope you enjoyed. Do us the greatest favor of dropping a like and a comment, and we hope to see you guys in the next video. Do us the greatest favor of taking good care, and we'll see you all next time. Make sure to have an arcade wave of a day.